Keep those toes.
Good evening, welcome to Vanguard Rovers Gameweek 16 review. My name's Sean, I'm joined as always with Phil, and we're going to go through all the excitement that's happened over this weekend. More goals and mince pies, Phil. It's been a wonderful weekend of football, some great games. A bit of a struggle for Arsenal.
Fantastic festive feast and no struggles at all. What are we talking about? Scoreboard says 3 points. All we care about. It's all we need. It's what we need. Christmas presents, keep them coming. All the haters can keep on hating, and we'll just keep on winning. Don't you worry about it. Even our opposition want us to win.
Well, obviously we're going to come to it, but let's kick off where it kicked off this weekend, and that was Chelsea at home to Everton. Finished 2-0 to Chelsea. Palmer back with a goal. You predicted one apiece on this one, Phil.
Yeah, he looks fired up, doesn't he? He looks fresh, which is good news for England, I imagine, as he's had having a couple of months off. We're going to come through these festive games thick and fast. Lots and lots of football to take in, and he looks to come back ticking, which, as I say, from an England point of view, he might maybe that rest and the bit of the season has done him good before he gets some miles in his legs over these next few weeks. But Chelsea looked good, did exactly what they needed to do. Everton kind of probably not flat to deceive. I mean, it's Chelsea, isn't it? And kind of, you wouldn't have looked at that game at the start of the season, thought Everton had much hope of taking much from it. But probably the way the form guide looked going into it, you probably felt they might have had an outside shot. But sort of, it's the usual drill. We said with Chelsea, which one's getting off the bus? It was the real Chelsea stepped up and carried the day pretty straightforward for them, to be honest. A little bit disappointed with Everton, maybe off the back of the last couple of weeks' results before that. They might have hoped to probably put Chelsea to their paces a bit more like Leeds did, particularly the way Leeds did it. You kind of felt that might have suited the way Everton wanted to play and get in their faces. But no, really effective job from Chelsea, and obviously getting Cole Palmer some minutes under his belt and a goal and no knock-on injury. Fantastic tick in the box for them this weekend, and pretty regulation, but a good start to the weekend.
Yeah, pretty controlled by Chelsea in the end. A couple of chances for Everton, but yeah, nice to see Palmer back. It's always positive. He's been out for a long time, so I'm sure there'll be a few fantasy football managers pleased to see him back, and I'm sure we'll start seeing him rotate back into people's teams over the next couple of weeks. Liverpool, yeah, Liverpool. I won't say comfortable, but 2-0 winners at Brighton. Salah coming on halfway through the first half and having an impact.
It's really strange on a lot of fronts. Really, I don't think any of us picked slot playing it that way for the weekend. But to be fair, I've seen a few bits on it over the weekend, and probably the overriding feeling is he's handled it really well because all the noise has gone and won it. You know what I mean? Like anything that was brewing of any kind has been dissipated in no time at all. It's worked a treat. Obviously, Salah got his goal, potentially got his goodbye. Liverpool, exactly what they needed. They need to get wins on the board. They've got to, I was saying off camera to you, this nonsense of they've had one win in, I don't know, about 10 years it feels like, and so they think they're back in the title race. Like they're what they need to do at the minute is just avoid like the worst title defense ever. That's what they're going for. But they need to get wins on the board. They need to get confidence back. Really interesting period coming up with the AFCON and Salah not being there, so they're going to have to make it work. But Ekitike still looks dangerous as ever. He's looked really good signing and I do think at the minute he's really motivated to try and keep Isak out of the starting lineup, or certainly make sure that he's the number one. Because I think we said over the summer, I think he would have been slightly put out. You sign for someone for nearly 90 million quid, and then they sign another striker afterwards for 130. Kind of what did I come here for? So he seems fired up. Really good for Salah. Brighton had moments, but we've said before, Brighton have moments in every game they play this season, whether they've won or lost. They've always looked dangerous, and from that regard, really, really good from Liverpool to keep a clean sheet because it could very easily have not been. They looked good. They looked good, but as we'll say, I think on some of the other matches from this weekend, one performance doesn't define a season. The table doesn't lie, and you're not back in a title race, Liverpoolers. So keep on making noise, but it ain't going to save your title defence. There we go.
Do you think that with Salah going to AFCON, it's a chance for Slot to really implement his vision without Salah being there then?
I might have said yes if I thought Slot had a vision. I'm not too sure what Slot's vision is because, I know he's taken to like rotating Salah out of the team, and there's this argument that Salah doesn't do enough defensively, but he never caused an issue before, like both in Slot's team last season or in Klopp's team before. And I get what you say about Slot's vision, but I think I don't know. Part of me thinks with the Salah thing, you just wonder why. There's not some people say he's lost a touch of pace. I'm not sure that's true. Like we've talked before, there's a lot of off-pitch stuff going on. I think a lot of relationship stuff. He's had appalling fullbacks behind him all season, or people who are not used to being fullbacks in Szoboszlai. I don't think that helps him at all. And I think it would upset his rhythm from last season to have that situation. But I'm not sure what Klopp's vision is, because we've seen him play. Can't decide between Ekatike and Isak as who should be the striker. We've seen him play them both together. Like what is the vision that Slot's working towards? I don't think Salah affects formation. So is Slot looking to play one man up front? Three? Is he looking to play the three up front like the old Firmino, Salah, and Mane days? Is he looking to play a single striker? Is he looking to play a partnership up front? I don't know. I don't see it. He's
Tried a lot of different things, haven't
whatever his plan was coming into this season is out the window now. He's tinkering with his lineup to try and make the players work, and I think it will take longer than this season to see what Slot's end vision is, because I think right now he's under so much pressure. Unlike Ruben Amorim, who apparently seems to get as much time as he wants to fuck it all up, Slot's actually responding to the fact that people are going, hang on a minute, you need to win games. And I think he's tinkering I think Slot's overriding drive right now is to get results, and I think that's the right thing to do. That's your job as a football club manager. So I'm not sure we're seeing Slot's vision this season. I think what we're seeing is the pragmatism of someone who knows he's under pressure to get wins, and as such, he's looking for a way to get wins. I'm not sure Salah's absence helps that. I think the politics and the pantomime around the last couple of weeks probably does help kill the noise, but I'm not sure Salah not being around the squad helps Liverpool win games.
Yeah.
I think they used Salah very well on the weekend. They clearly pushed him slightly out of the pitch. They didn't ask him to defend, and you saw a happy Mo Salah off the back of it. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, as much as we bemoan players, being treated like prima donnas and whatever else, if they're not happy, they're not going to perform, are they? So I think they did the right. They didn't handle Salah in all the right ways this weekend, but I'm not sure Salah not being there helps anything really, because I don't think Slot's a bad man manager. Like, well, fundamentally, he's turned around. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're going to slam the." Salah's got the door slammed on him. He'll never play Liverpool again. But well, he seemed perfectly fucking happy on the weekend, didn't he? So, whatever conversations they've had behind the scenes, they've responded to that, and I think Salah's come out with his kind of whether it's right or wrong the way he's communicated when happy. Liverpool have responded, and they've responded by showing that they weren't happy by suspending him, and then they've responded by looking to make him happier. So however they've done that well. So I don't think Slot was fussed about it. And I also don't think in I'm going to sound philosophical now, but I also don't think in life in general it helps anybody to just kick a problem down the road and to just pretend it never happened. So I think it was really good that for them that Salah played well on the weekend, because it does kill all the noise now while he's away. I think if he'd have had a bad match, or if they left him out, all that noise would have carried on for 3, 4, 5 weeks. Whereas now it's all dead in the water, in it, and because nobody thinks there's a problem, it's kind of like, oh shit, there's a problem, but it's been dealt with. All right, well, on to the next story. So no, I think, like I say, I think Slot's doing the right thing in terms of focusing on results at the minute, and he needs to make sure that last weekend is a stepping stone to a few more results for them, because they've got Arsenal coming up, they've got other difficult matches coming up, and they need to prove that they're back able to compete. And we've said a long time they're a good bunch of players. They're not going to keep misfiring for too long, but I think they've probably misfired too long for getting anything worthwhile, meaningful out of this season. Probably not. To be fair, I'll qualify that statement. We saw last year PSG were absolutely shy in the Champions League until it got to knockout stages, and they're more than capable of going on and winning the Champions League. From a league perspective, you're not catching Man City and Arsenal. It's not happening. You might catch one of them. You're not catching both of them. I don't know which one that is, by the way, and that's whether that might well be you catch Arsenal and Man City win it, but you're not catching both those teams from so far behind. Those teams are not both dropping 9 or 10 points for Liverpool to catch up. No chance. So there is no title race, but there might well still be a Champions League campaign that goes very, very deep if they can get themselves in order, because you only need to switch on in March from the Champions League. Yeah. So they're well and capable of doing that.
Well, let's move on from that. Let's just on that. Nathan predicted 1-1 I had it 2-2 and you had 2-1. None of us scored points on that one. We all expected different. Yeah, Burnley at home to Fulham. Fulham 3-2 winners in the end. Harry Wilson had a great game. I don't know if you saw much of it.
He's had a good few weeks, hasn't he?
He really has. He scored some
Well,
mega points on.
you're rapidly becoming number one fanboy, aren't you? Like you've been gushing over him for the last 2 or 3 weeks with
I'm
different goals, and
still not putting him in my team.
you need to question your motivation for a man with slightly long hair. But no, he looked good. He looked good. Fulham looked good. It was surprising. Burnley scored two. Um,
End to
it
end,
was
a good
another,
game.
it was another rip roaring advert for the Premier League. But I think again, you cut through all the minor stories, etc., and you get to the end result, which where we all started, which is that Fulham had too much. Burnley didn't have enough. Burnley didn't show enough nous, Premier League nous. Fulham did show their experience in the league. A couple of obviously, like you say, flashes of brilliance, which always help unlock a game that's quite close. At the end of the day, I think the result was pretty fair. You might be slightly niffed at Burnley you get a draw, but again, I'd put that down to you should be niffed at yourself for showing you an experience, really. So, yeah, it was a great game, but the end result is exactly how we call it. Well, I say exactly. I don't remember, but I'm reasonably sure it's how we called it, right? Is that Fulham beat Burnley, and we
We
saw
did.
that coming.
We all predicted a Fulham win. Nathan had 2-1 to Fulham. You had 2-0 Fulham. I had 2-1 as well. So we all predicted a Fulham win and obviously prevailed. So why do we start with your boys? Arsenal 2-1 winners at home to Wolves. We all predicted a heavy Arsenal win. Nathan had 3-0. You had 4-0. I also had 3-0. Yeah. Wolves
Um,
played well.
well, well, yeah, Wolves did. Wolves absolutely pulled together. You know what I mean? And for all we could spin this critique, we I think they actually did what I remember claiming they couldn't do, and they performed for 90 minutes, which is a good sign. I mean, let's be clear. We caveat all this with that they are absolutely gone. They are so far cut adrift. They have no chance, right? But they showed some spirit. They showed fight. They showed organisation. They show they can concentrate for 90 minutes, which they haven't showed so far this season. Um, and absolutely, they. I'm not going to lie. It was a nervous 4 minutes at the end. I was not comfortable, sat on my sofa. Um, but from an Arsenal point of view, do you know what? I come down on the side. I always do. I come down on the side of positivity. You know what I mean? I think most of our players probably watched that match in the stands like the rest of us from the looks of the performances they put in. Like they certainly didn't switch on and look like they crossed the white line. Um, but come the end of the season, to sound cliched, those are the matches you need to look back on and go, do you know what? We played like absolute shite tonight. We've come away with 3 points. Like, you need those matches to win a league, any league, not just the Premier League, any league. The teams that win are the teams that when they have those days where you look absolute rubbish, you somehow still get a win out of the bag. And I think that was a massive, massive goal at the end. I know it was an own goal, but the fact that Arsenal sat, when I was screaming at the telly in that last 20 minutes, we were just going deeper and deeper and deeper. I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
Arteta's interview at the end; he was absolutely raging and absolutely bloody right as well. You were just dropping and dropping. What are you doing? Like, this is Wolves, and or anybody, to be fair. What do you think you like? It doesn't matter how good your defence is. What on earth are you dropping so deep for at home? It doesn't make any sense. That this completely just seemed to lose confidence in that last 20 minutes. So to then concede and find a way to pick yourself up and get back, to get forward and get that goal, to get that win, I think was a massive, massive statement of kind of backbone and staying power, because you were on a back foot. The momentum was with Wolves. When they scored, it certainly looked like Wolves were the only team getting the winner. And yet somehow in 3 or 4 minutes, you've picked yourselves up, dusted yourself down, found a way to get back on the attack, and you forced the goal. Like, again, it's no goal, but you've still forced the mistake. It's a phenomenal cross by Saka. And so that's a real, real positive. But yeah, we made hard work of it. Like I said to you, it doesn't matter how good your players are. You keep fucking about with formation, it messes up your stability, and it messes up your flow and your rhythm. I can. It just does. Look how much tinkering Formula One cars take. It doesn't matter. You've got the best engine, the best aerodynamism. If you change the tires every 10 minutes, like, you're not gonna go as fast, are you? So
Absolutely.
it was a real tough evening. It was a tough watch, and Wolves absolutely pulled together. But we said Arsenal would be far too strong. Fundamentally, Arsenal were able to play like absolute shite for what their levels are, and yet still be too strong. So the gulf is huge. And I mean, it says everything, doesn't it? The Wolves had to come to the Emirates and play like Manchester City, hanging on. So that's how Manchester City did it. So everyone copies the blueprint, don't they? Get 11 men behind the ball and hope the referee gives you a decision. It nearly worked for Manchester City, and it nearly worked for Wolves. But we were. That's again the difference with Arsenal this season. We were able to have injuries, have people come off injured, play not very well, still get 3 points. And it was job done. We move on with the 3 points. But yeah, not as comfortable as I would have expected my Saturday night to be. I'm not going to lie. So, but it's over, and the table says the 3 points on the board. So
Oh, you just touched on Man City there, and obviously they won 3-0 away to Palace. We all predicted a Man City win. Nathan 2-0. You had it 3-1. I had it 2-1. Yeah, Foden and
why do I always give both teams a goal now? Just thought Palace might, but
a bit
I
disappointing
mean, it
from
wasn't a
Palace.
3-0 game, was it? I mean,
No,
to be fair to Palace, it was never a 3-0 game. Um, and I suppose the funny thing is, we Liverpool are taking a lot of hammering at the minute. In general, around everyone looking back to the start of the season, going, oh well, they weren't playing well and they were just scraping wins, and maybe that was what we needed to know about this Liverpool team's not good enough. And for all Manchester City have won the last 3 or 4 matches, they've looked like they could have lost all of them. And so they're getting, and again, to what I just said about Arsenal, to be fair, they're getting wins and not looking convinced. Like it was never a 3-0 game. I mean, this one definitely, I think, no doubt should have been a City win. But it wasn't a 3-0 game. But they are looking ominous, Said before, Foden is looking unstoppable. Haaland is looked unstoppable all season. The surrounding players, Reinders and Doku, and are all looking like they're on tip, like they believe again.
yeah,
I think that's the difference. They look like they believe again. And yeah, they're looking very, very good. And unfortunately for Palace, they're organised, but the quality told. And yeah, it was ended up being regulation. Even though if you watch the match, it doesn't necessarily feel regulation if you take those moments out of it. But then again, that's why you pay those players massive bucks, isn't it, for those moments? And yeah, job done, City. They continue breathing down our necks,
yeah.
and it's far too close for comfort.
It is close. I mean, but yeah, Haaland and Foden obviously played quality again, scoring massive amounts of points in your fantasy football.
I think the biggest thing from this weekend, from a title race perspective, is I think, and how it's psychological. I think more than anything, but I think for the first time, City have overtaken Arsenal's goal difference,
Right.
which obviously, when you're thinking the league's going to end up being quite a tight finish, like I say, it does become quite a psychological boon, doesn't it? Because you know that if it gets truly, truly edgy, you've got that up your sleeve. So I think that's a it'll be interesting how they both react psychologically to this now. Do you know what I mean? And hopefully, um, it'll react in the right ways. Maybe.
Forest 3, Spurs 0. Phil, you had this 2-1 to Spurs. You back Spurs. They let you down. Um,
Well, I say it every time, don't I? I'm reasonably sure I said at the time is that Spurs always let you down, don't they? Like predicting these Spurs matches is my time we get about how shit your life is, and like it just is, isn't it? Like they're just so Spursy. Like if it isn't, Spursy needs adding to the Oxford Dictionary, the Urban Dictionary this year as an actual just my God, you genuinely must question your life choices as a Spurs fan. I mean, in general, anyway, but like particularly this season, like and last season, like just oh my word. I mean, Forest, fair play, Sean Dyche. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you know, I'm really taught for years what could Sean Dyche do in a team where he gets some support and what could he do? Well, Marinakis will back him as long as he likes him. But what I mean is he'll financially back him, and that's one thing that Sean Dyche has never had. He might have had the owner's support, but he's never been at a club where they're spending money. Or Marinakis will spend money, so it's interesting to see what he'll do. Um, and yeah, I think they did really really well. They did really well. I mean, Thomas Frank must wonder what on earth he's done here. Like he must be sat looking at Brentford going, "God, if I just stay there and kept that squad together, I'd be lording over Tottenham right now. This bunch of monkeys." But just appalling. I mean, I think I mean, I think you or I should stick our hand up to see if we can get transferred in for Vicario. I mean, honestly, what on earth he was playing at is just astounding for someone of his experience. And poor Archie Gray getting sold down the river, like, and I've seen people blaming him, and you should know he's a young lad, and you've just been stitched up by a senior player with an absolute donkey pass, like just anyway. So yeah, like I say, my one shot a week returns its usual result. Spurs let me down again. I don't know. I don't know why I'm surprised. I've spent years watching Spurs fans claim they're surprised. I've watched years listening to what's his chops, Jamie O'Hara. Getting ready 1 week to top himself, and the next week to think he's drinking champagne for the next 10 years. They are just an absolute pantomime club. Like as in literally, as in we just got it's behind you, it's in front of you. I don't know where it is, whatever. But they're in the right place for pantomime season, aren't they? Just another absolute horror show performance. And as I say, Thomas Frank must be wondering what on earth he needs to do to get 4 or 5 games of consistent performance out of these players. I mean, they are literally the ultimate cup team, aren't they? Like they can look absolutely unbelievably good against top teams when they decide to play, and then they can look like they've never met each other,
Yeah.
and like someone's just pulled them off from a basketball court and gone, here you go, have a go at playing this game over here called football. Like it's unbelievable how they can go from one to the other. I mean, there's a few teams this year, performances up and down, but it's almost like Tottenham get together. I tell you what, boys, if they can make this the gap, let's us just see how far we can make it from like how good we are to how shit we are. We'll see just how big we can make that gap to piss our fans off. Like, anyway, it's enough about Tottenham. They're just, honestly, what a farce. But
You just love talking about Spurs, though. You can't deny it.
what do you expect when you've got a cockerel as your emblem? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's just whatever. It's nearly as bad as having a seahorse,
Oh,
or whatever that is on your chest.
oh. I will. We can quickly discuss this one if you like.
Speaking of
Sunderland,
comedy horror shows,
Sunderland beat us 1-0 at their
sorry, what was that?
place.
What was
Not
the
repeating
score?
it. 1-0 Sunderland.
What was it?
You
What was
predicted
it?
3-2.
Was this the super important? Was this the super important derby? The guaranteed 6 points that Newcastle were taking this season?
Yeah, I mean, you can
Was
see
this the
I'm
official
physically.
confirmation of my statement that Sunderland are the biggest team in the northeast? In fact, yeah, didn't I predict a Sunderland win?
You did, yeah.
Did I? Did. Oh, look at that! Didn't I say Sunderland draw with Arsenal and Arsenal are
In
better than
fact,
Newcastle?
you said it'd be dramatic. It'd be a 97th winner in injury time, is what you said
That's right.
last week.
It wasn't quite that, was it?
It wasn't
But
quite that, no. It wasn't quite that.
no, it wasn't. I know maybe Voltemar saw our post and thought he'd just make it happen. Maybe he heard Eddie Howe shouting "Make it happen, Nick," and he just took it the wrong way. Oh, go
To
on
be
then, I'll
fair,
make some happen.
fucking phenomenal finish. Just the wrong end of the bastard pitch.
It turned out to celebrate and realise he was at the opposite end.
Deeply, deeply.
Honest to goodness me.
Honestly,
I mean,
just
if
I've
the
never been
Wolves'
like
own goals against Arsenal were weird, I mean that it was almost like he saw that and went, do you know what? I'll show you what a weird own goal is. But
Alan Shearer
I
it.
mean, honestly, fair play, son. Like I
Yeah,
said to you, do you know what I
to be
mean?
fair,
It was
they were quality.
thought they
Yeah,
might be up for it. They were clearly up for it, and and you know what? Take Newcastle out for a second. As I said to you, I love what Sunderland are doing this season. Absolutely love it. They don't care. They didn't care when they faced Arsenal. They didn't care when they faced City. They didn't care. They no crying in the corner and going, "Oh shit, the big boys have come to town." It's like, no. This is where I want to be here. These are the teams we want to play. Let's get on and enjoy every second of it. They look like they're enjoying it. So, really, really good. Newcastle. Don't know. It's really bizarre because I often say like with Newcastle, they're not a pretty footballing team, but they're just a team you as an opposing fan, they're just a team you don't want to face because they just make it hard, really, really hard to get a win against them. And all right, it was a tight fought match, but you didn't create hardly anything. It was really surprising that first half how toothless your front line was, um, and and that was a surprise because that feels like from a fan's point of view. I'm not a Newcastle fan, but from a fan's point of view, that feels like the game you should have. I mean, I can't remember the last time you played Sunderland in the league, but it was what, a
9
decade
years ago.
ago, something like
Yeah,
that.
9 years.
So you'd have thought this is the game you're going to be up for it. Like if you're known to be a team that fights for everything and makes it tough for the opposition, this is the game where you go in hell for leather and it just seems like the players didn't get that memo, and forgot how important the match was. And you look at them at the end, like looking all zoned out and stuff, clapping the fans. But it's like, well, maybe you should have realised the enormity of the match 90 minutes earlier when you had the chance to affect the outcome. So yeah, nowhere near enough from Newcastle. Sunderland, exactly what we've seen from in every home match this season. Just they absolutely have built themselves a fortress. And for the next, is that your quick turnaround game? Do you play them again quite soon, or is that
I
not
believe
your?
so. Yeah, I think
There's a few
yeah,
there's a few quick turn games coming, isn't there? But I mean, at the minute, I mean, yeah, they're bouncing around the northeast, lording it over you, aren't they? Like it's what a time to wear red and white on the Tyne and Weir. It's yeah, one to
yeah. I
forget for
mean,
Newcastle, and Eddie
it's
Howe's got work to do, and I don't know. It's weird. Like I've said to you before, and I think I've always thought from years ago talking to you about it. I think that Eddie Howe is the Mark Hughes of Newcastle. I think he's the caretaker manager who sort of switches them from being a knockabout club to a reasonably serious club, and then you're waiting. He's the guy waiting to hand over to the guy who will actually catapult Newcastle on. And I think more and more this season, in my opinion, that's what it's looking like. He doesn't seem, in my mind, to have the answers that go, how do we push Newcastle into that? Because he's never been to the next level. He did a great job at Bournemouth, but with Bournemouth, like Eddie Howe doesn't have the experience of getting a big team to the next level, and I think this season has maybe just starting to show because last season, 2 years ago, when you were in the Champions League, your league form tanked. And that seems to be exactly what's happening again this season. And as much as I say Liverpool might have a run on to win the Champions League with the best will in the world, Newcastle are not winning the Champions League. So um, the league form's got to be the focus. Like you can't do an Ange Postecoglou uh, and rely on winning European competition to get you back in it. You need to sort your league form out rapid. Um, just looking light at the minute, and again, this bunch of fixtures will be really telling. For so many teams, actually, in 4 or 5 weeks' time, the world could be standing on its head. But
yeah. That's how
Newcastle
crazy the
got to
league,
try
isn't
and
it? It's that tight. It's just that.
they need they need some consistency in these next few results because it's a really poor setup. You feel that I know not every team pauses in this midweek, but like it's quite a light week even for the teams that are playing right because it's League Cup. But like you just feel it's a really poor setup game to launch into this next 4 or 5 weeks that's mega busy. And obviously it's one where you guys as fans are hurting, aren't you? Because it's the match you're desperate to win. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're just
great day for
disappointing. To
Sunderland.
be
And
fair, well, just the whole thing was just disappointing. Which there were no passion. I touched a couple of weeks ago on the fact that we seem to have lost that aggression, that bully boy style of play.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it'd be nice to see that aggression back again because that aggression, that intimidation that we've had, it's helped us win games like that. I mean, yeah, I've lost Dan Burn again to injury now. He's going to be out for
He's definitely out, is he? Because he's
yeah,
amber on fantasy football. I saw that.
no, he's broken ribs and sorry, yeah, punctured lung and broken ribs. I don't know if you
Ouch.
saw
So
the
he's not
challenge; it
coming.
was horrific. But
I'd
yeah,
heard it. I didn't see it, but I heard it wasn't great. And like I say, fantasy football still got in at 50-50, so I wasn't quite sure how bad it was, but that certainly doesn't sound 50-50
yeah,
to me.
he's definitely not playing for a good 5 6 weeks. But
Yeah,
yeah. Overall,
that's
really
that's
disappointing. I think the pressure is going to start piling up on Howe now. He's got to do something. He's got to do something tomorrow night when we play Spurs in the League Cup.
see, that's a game for both of you. So big for both of you. So big for both of you.
At this
For all I've
stage,
just
it is, yeah.
critiqued Spurs, the danger. Well, the danger for anyone. For all, I'll quite happily monologue tirade on Spurs every day of the week. They are the ultimate cup team, which means when you draw them in a cup, they're bloody dangerous. Really dangerous, and anything could happen in that game. From in my opinion, from the weekend, you could see a Spurs reaction, you could see a Newcastle reaction, you could see them both cancel each other out. And literally anything could happen. That's going to be a heck of a game tomorrow. So yeah,
Say
not
Spurs. Which
not
one's
an
it?
easy
Spurs or
game.
it's Fulham we're playing. It's not Spurs. I don't know how I've
Oh,
got Spurs in my head. I don't know how I've got that in my head.
oh, mate, throw me a curve. Oh well, that's
Spurs are in
easy.
Cup
Easy
West
for you. It's
yeah. But
straight up and down full and win that, then, isn't it? So
it's a tough game. It's a tough, yeah. It's another tough game, and like I say, I think he's under pressure if he doesn't start winning these next few games. It's there's whispers
is
and
he? I mean,
rumbles.
is this? I was saying to you, and I looking back at the streams from early in the season, and watching Nathan's outline of how Villa fans were talking about binning Emery 5 weeks into the season. Is this another one of these where it's like a flash in the pan, and like the margin fringe lunatics are taking over the asylum, or is this a case of you actually think seriously he should be under pressure? Because I think he's got. I imagine for me, if I was the owners of Newcastle, because let's be honest, for all we have these discussions from the perspective of fans, as fans we're utterly irrelevant. It's what the owners want that matters. Um, if I'm the owners, you've got to give them to at least March, and by March I mean you're going to see if you've gone out early in the Champions League. But if you're going to get rid of him, for me, you get rid of him. That's like sort of as much as I say managers should get to the end of the season. For me, that's the sweet spot to get rid of a manager at the end of March, because what you're doing, if you know your new manager, because what you're doing is you're giving the new manager 5 or 6 games at the end of the season where they can assess everybody, which means they can impact the transfer window in the summer. They can know who they like, they can know who they don't like, they know what they want to bring in, and they can go off and get those deals done. Whereas you bring them in right at the end of the season, they don't get to see the
Yeah,
players in a live environment. It can be really challenging, and you can almost lose 18 months by missing that transfer window, and you've almost bumped the whole project on 12 months. So I think you're right. If he doesn't sort of leave form, and if they don't get a great Champions League result and sort of get towards the second knockout round or the quarterfinals, then you might find the owners looking towards the trigger, and thinking, you know what, you've had 4 years now. Whatever is it, 4 years, 3 years?
yeah,
It's
sorry,
amazing how
yeah,
time
yeah.
flies. It's amazing how time flies, and fundamentally, you've not achieved a great deal. I get you've won the Carabao Cup, and we could debate that all day long as to whether or not that cup matters to the big teams. But like, you've got a Carabao Cup, and effectively, if it goes wrong, you'll have had 2 failed Champions League runs that have led to you not being in the Champions League the year after. Um, I think Newcastle owners want more than that. I think Newcastle fans want more than that. And right now, he doesn't look like he's got the answers. So we'll see. And watch
See,
this space.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously we've got a busy schedule coming up, so yeah, he's got to start getting playing again. This flatness can't continue. Um, moving on anyway, West Ham at home to Villa. Nathan will have enjoyed this one. 3-2 Villa won. Nathan had 2-0 for his own team. You had 3-1. I had 2-1. So we all backed a Villa win there with that one. Did you see much of that one, Phil?
I did not see that game, unfortunately, which is a real shame because it reads well. It reads on BBC Sport as an absolute ding dong, doesn't it? So it's a shame, really. But again, I can't go too much into micro stories. I didn't personally watch the match, but what I can say is, it broadly speaking, follows the strategic art we talked about, doesn't it? Villa on an unbelievable run. Absolute dreamland at the minute. Carries on rolling forward. Good performances. West Ham clearly showed fight, because to get 2 goals against Villa is not easy. Far
Scored
better
early as
teams
well,
have
didn't they?
failed to do it, and yeah, so they're clearly showing fight. But again, from a West Ham point of view, you're not blaming anybody for losing to Villa. I mean, Villa are, even if you take before this run of amazing wins from the borderline Champions League team, that's where they are now, and they've got a very very experienced manager, and you can't have expected much out of that game as a West Ham fan, particularly where your season's going. They're not the matches that matter to West Ham. West Ham need to be looking at teams from sort of eighth, ninth, and down, and thinking, right, we can beat any of these. And you know what? Anything above that, if we get anything out of the game, it's a bonus. Um, yeah, just too strong. And the Villa Dreamland bus rolls on. Just to be clear, I'll say it right now: you have no chance of winning the league, absolutely none. But enjoy the bus. Like I said with the Arsenal thing, we might have no chance of winning the league at all, but I'm going to enjoy as long as I can the fact we're top of the league. Villa fans, enjoy as long as you can the fact you've won again, but you're not winning anything. So don't get too excited.
Good win for West Ham there, for Villa, sorry.
Damn.
I know, yeah, even I'm still mincing my words tonight. Rodgers scored 2 decent goals again, scoring high on the fantasy football.
He
Very
is,
good
and I'm
game.
enjoying the fact I transferred him in 2 weeks ago. Do you know, I waited, stupidly waited until after the Arsenal match because I thought Villa won't get anything out of that game, so I wait till after the Arsenal match to put him in. But no, he's doing me good at the minute.
Good returns.
He's a lovely midfield pickup, so he's in. But unfortunately, little Matthew Cash let me down at the weekend. He did not do quite so well. Maybe he greased his hair the wrong way or something this week. But no, Villa looking good. They are looking good, and yeah, they're in a very good place right now. So it'd be an interesting. Of next 4 weeks, they play Arsenal again at the Emirates. Obviously, got the back
Someone, yeah.
the sort of the thick and fast fixtures we've talked about. It could be in a very very good place by mid January, but we'll see.
Good solid push for Champions League places from Villa. It's good to see them playing well again. Then we had Brentford at home to Leeds, 1 apiece it finished. Phil, you had 2-0 Brentford.
Yeah.
Leeds come back
Reese,
for a
what did
result.
I know? What did I know, son? Absolutely shit all, apparently.
Reese, you've been doing that, have you?
Yeah, do you know what? I just, Leeds have not travelled well this season, but for all I'm a bit of a slow old beast to turn. You know what I mean? And kind of maybe put too much to the overall season around last week. I did say on the preview show that I thought Leeds would take so much confidence and so much emotional bounce from the last few weeks. And they clearly did that, to come back from a goal down away at Brentford and in the way they did, bearing in mind they haven't travelled well this season and their away form's not been great. I thought showed a lot of character, showed a lot of fight. We've said that, it's clear that the players are fighting for Farker and and pulling for him. We've always, I think, well, I said we. I've always said like Calvert Lewin. He's one of those like Callum Wilson. If you can keep him fit, he'd be unbelievable. But keeping him fit is a nigh impossible task. It's like having a glass unicorn in it and going just please climb over those rocks. Like it's just difficult to keep him fit. But he seems to now be benefiting from the fact he has been fit for a few weeks and he has had some consistent starts and he's starting to get those relationships with some of the Leeds players. So he looked good. And yeah, like I said, Leeds carry on the progress of the last 3 or 4 weeks. Yes, their fans might have hoped more after the results against Chelsea and Liverpool, but fundamentally they were at home and this was away from home, so it's a different ball game entirely. Fantastic effort to come back from goal down. Brentford looked good, but just not enough. Do you know what I mean? I know you like if it's difficult to see where the flood of goals is coming from. Do you know what I mean? Like Thiago's a great target man. He needs something around him. Do you know what I mean? Like when Brentford were really, really firing, you had Ivan Toney doing that role, and you had Vista coming off and Mbeumo coming. They had options around him,
Yeah.
and it was almost like they came forward in waves, didn't they? And they don't quite have that this season. It's much more their goals and their danger threat seems to be much more organised or formulaic from set pieces and from crosses. And Leeds defended those very, very well. So, although it was 1-1, I did watch the match. It was a great advert for the Premier League. I thought, again, another match which kind of go, take it or leave it, I'll stick it on. And it was really enjoyable. And as I say, Reese, I'll step back. Fair play. Leeds have found the travelling boots. And like I said in the preview, I do. It's nice to have a Premier League team on the doorstep, and it's nice to see them carrying that progress of the last 3 weeks forward. And what they need to do now is try and take that momentum. I mean, it's almost the perfect time to get momentum. As I say, there's a lot of games coming this next 4 weeks. If they can just bottle that momentum and keep it going, they could be in a
Really
great
good
place
December,
to
aren't
come
they?
in. It could be a great place to come into January transfer window. Do you know what I mean? And people question, well, would they give Farker anything in January? Would they not? Well, they're probably showing enough at the minute, and a couple more results. And the ball manager, you know what? If we just back him a little bit, whether it's a loan signing or whether that's picking up someone on a good deal, they might just think, you know what, it's worth it. We might make this. We might hang on into this. We might be able to stay up. And I think, like Nathan was saying, probably go back 3 weeks. It's probably not somewhere the fans were, and maybe not some of the board. Maybe start to think, but I think they've shown enough in this last 4 weeks, last four matches, that you think, come on, let's just stick with them, show that belief, and fair play, cracking result, especially for coming back from behind. really good for them.
Yeah.
So well played, Leeds.
Really positive outlook from Leeds, especially the December they're having's been quality for them. You know, ask any Leeds fan if they've ever had them results over the last 3 4 weeks, and they're snapped their hands off. So yeah, good
Beyond their
result for Leeds
wildest
away
dreams.
there. Um, yeah, I predicted 2-2. You predicted 2-0 to Brentford, and Nathan had 2-1 to Leeds. So we all had mixed views there. Point for me. So, and then we had a right treat Monday night, and I missed it. 4-4 Man United Bournemouth. What a game. Phil, you
Oh
actually predicted a draw, to be fair. You predicted 2-2. You're halfway there.
my God, there's some luck for you. You know. Oh my days. No, well, I missed the memo. I didn't realise that the NBA were doing a match in the UK this year. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Like two teams that clearly have utterly forgotten defending, um, and decided that let's play Barcelona ball, and they've also forgotten their strikers aren't good enough to play Barcelona ball. Um, and just absolute chaos. But what I will, probably the weirdest ending to a football match I've ever seen in my life. So the referee was as spellbound as the rest of us because it was 8 minutes of overtime and I think he played 10. So he clearly didn't want the game to end either. And genuinely, at the end of the match, all the players were like just zoned out on the pitch, and like the stadium was just it was just quiet. Like everybody, and I say this from someone who watched as a neutral. I mean, my old man's a Man United fan, so I was watching with him, and he was going through the ringer, which was amusing to watch. But like everybody just wanted more. You just didn't want the game to end. It was just like, oh my gosh, like you just cannot predict what's going to happen next. Like, and it was a real shame and anticlimax when the final whistle went because I could have easily watched another 45 minutes of that quite happily. Um, Really, like I say, if you ever want to be a defender, don't watch that match. If you ever want to understand the dangers of having completely disorganized chaos and just saying to your players, just go for it and try and score, then watch that match. Like it was just mayhem, and could easily have been 8, 9, 10 each. Like it just
Absolute chaos.
unbelievable. You had to like pinch yourself. Did that really just happen? Like, is that really? And Man United's home form is dreadful. And they rely on moments. It's going to be really interesting this Afcon run for them because they've got some really tough games. And at the minute, three of that, Ahmad's probably saved the game for him, and he's going. And Buemo, all right, didn't have a great match, but he saved matches for him already this season. He's going. Mazraoui, nothing particularly on Monday, but has been a consistent performer now for 18 months, as ultimately reliable to go in. It's their entire right hand side gone for 4 to 5 weeks, and I don't know. For me, their squad at the minute doesn't look deep enough to cope with it. But Man United, nothing not irritatingly annoying to kind of prove us all wrong consistently, and Ruben Amorim dodges the bullet somehow again. I mean, I was watching Catch Me If You Can the other day, and part of me thinks it's DiCaprio in disguise. He's just like forged his credentials to get the job. Like, it just looks absolutely like he just walked in out the stands and he's making it up as he goes along. Like, bizarre. But Bournemouth, fair play to them. They've had a shit run of form recently away from home. So again, they've done well. Semenyo got his goal. You were talking about Woody, wouldn't he? Tavernier looked dangerous. But they just need to remember they do know how to defend. You do, Bournemouth players. You do know how to defend. Like you can do it. Like, but just seem to have completely forgotten. But fair play. They've had a shocking run of results away from home. They've slightly stopped the rot by getting a draw. It's Old Trafford. Like everybody gets points at Old Trafford apart from Man United, right? But like I say, unbelievable game. What a fabulous game for Monday Night Football. Really enjoyed it. And what was even better is I put Fernandez in my fantasy football team last week. So good lad. I don't care. It's chaos. Just you rack them points up, son.
Yeah, to be fair, I watched the highlights after the game had finished and I saw the scoreline. Got to tune in and have a quick look at that. And yeah, what a ding dong of a game. I think even the Bournemouth manager, was saying after the game, this what a great game to be broadcasting. When I think one of the journalists was trying to criticise the fact that they conceded 4 goals. It's like, well, you want to see a boring 0-0?
See, I'll be honest. If I was a Bournemouth fan, I would be slightly narked. If my manager had just overseen my team conceding 4 goals. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, obviously, I don't know what that's like because we're like 2 or 3 years down the line of even conceding 3. But I tell you now, if Arteta came out and said, "What a game of football for conceding 4 goals," I'd want him shooting. Like, no, 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 you're the manager. Conceding 4 goals is absolutely bloody criminal. Like, you should be raging at your players. It's not about entertainment. I'm sorry, I don't buy into that shit. Football is a results business. Like, you can leave your entertaining teams to White Hart Lane. Thank you very much. Leave, like, winners win, right? And losers whine and losers rant on about performance. Like, no, 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 no. 4 goals wasn't good enough, Bournemouth. You should have won that match if you defended properly. The same for Manchester United. Yeah. If you can score 4 goals, you should be winning at home. You shouldn't be losing, but particularly Man United, they were ahead 3 times. You shouldn't be losing the lead 3 times at home. Dreadful from a performance professional perspective. From a neutral's perspective, yeah, keep scoring, go for it, great fun. But if I was a fan, I'd be fuming if that was what Iriola said in his post-match, because I'd be like, no, 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 you just
let to that to them exact words, but it was something similar from what I heard on Talksport this morning when I was listening to that.
Well, I wouldn't be happy if my manager was okay with shipping 4 goals.
Yeah, overall, it's been a good weekend of football. To be fair,
loads of goals, loads of great games. What we said before, and as much as it pains me as an Arsenal fan to say it, you know what I mean? The Wolves match, what an unbelievable advert for the Premier League, that a team that is absolutely bloody miles adrift at the bottom of the division can put one of the best teams in the world through their paces, and force them to be, I'll tell you now as an Arsenal fan, to be seriously sweating and concerned in the 92nd minute. Unbelievable. What a fantastically competitive league we've got. And yeah, I mean, yeah, amazing. Looking forward. Roll on game week 17.
We've got some good games again next week.
Roll on Christmas. Who needs presents? I just keep bringing the football.
I know it's a shame about the Boxing Day football. That really is annoying. That
it will be when you go down to Man United. United. Which one? United. Which one? Oh, I don't know. Either. I don't care.
Well, we're predicting them as always, guys.
Well, at least you know the world will be watching.
Guys, if you've been watching, drop us a comment. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We'll be back again later on in the week with predictions. If you want to join the Fantasy Football League, it is somewhere on the bottom. It has been all the way through this somewhere. So yeah, feel free to join. It's been blown wide open, to be fair.
Actually, you put charity mode on, didn't you?
I
thought it's too close to comfort. I'm so cocky. I can walk this league. I can uncaptain Erling Haaland. I can uncaptain the best player in the league, and then wonder why it's all gone wrong.
I also dropped some menu, but more on that next week when we talk about fantasy football a little bit more. But yeah, if you've enjoyed watching, thank you very much. Like I say, cheers, Reese, if you've been watching, appreciate it. Anyone else, yeah. But from myself and Phil, that's pretty much us done, and we'll catch you later on in the week.
Cheers, folks.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.